HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. It's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a Friday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios, downtown BR. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill. Casey Gaines and Taylor Sharp back there on the ones and twos with you for another 2 hours on a Friday, working till the weekend. Mr. Hill, how we doing?
I just got some bad news last night. Demarius Thomas, man.
Yeah.
He was actually a good friend of mine, so just terrible news to wake up to today, but we'll get through it. Just want to send condolences to his what
was y'all's relationship?
Yeah, so my first year in the NFL, we had a lot of run-ins with the Broncos, so I just got a relationship with him, just, being in NFL circles, off seasons, being in LA and stuff like that, and just a great, phenomenal dude, man. I just think of the character he was, just not just on the field, but just who he was off the field, and it's just tough times.
A lot of just unbelievable, the kind words that have come out on Twitter about him, the person that he was, how kind of mild-mannered he was, soft-spoken, but a genuine heart. And you just never know. I mean, those of us like me that sit there and just watch on TV, you got helmets on, pads, and you're out there playing the game. You don't get a chance to meet people personally, but obviously sounds like everybody that he met was just, heartbroken and had nothing but great things to say about him.
Yeah, he was. He was just a high-character dude. I know it's super cliche to say, but give the shirt off his back. He was actually that guy, and I just think of just how nice and how kind he was, just to complete strangers, and just a total good dude, man. That's really all I can say about it. And it's just so tragic that, at 33 years of age, he's not here with us anymore. But once again, just got to send condolences to his family. Just a very, very, very tough time. Really
tough, obviously. And I think the moment everyone will remember from the NFL was the playoff game against the Steelers. It was Tebow mania there, and it was kind of obvious that Tebow they were winning games because they were good on defense and they were running the ball, and he was making enough plays. And John Elway's the GM there, and he's thinking, we gotta move on from this guy. But he just kept winning, and then in the first play of overtime, Marius hits that post route and just runs away from the entire Steelers defense that day.
Yeah, that was a heck of a play, man. I think that's what everyone's going to remember Tim Tebow for, but Demarius had a big part of that, man. Just catching
all of it.
Yeah, just catching that post and just running away from everybody. And our boy, RC, I think he missed that game because
he did for sickle cell.
Yeah, he missed that game, so he would have definitely been a part of that one. So, yeah, just funny how this football circle works. It's kind of like we all know each other, but yeah, Bebe, that's his nickname that we all called him. Man, great dude, and just it's so sad that he's gone.
Very, very sad, and obviously no easy way to transition out of that, but we do want to get on to what we're going to talk about on the show today. LSU and Georgia Tech are going to tip it off tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Been a little bit of an issue with them today. We'll talk about that in the next segment. Everybody's okay, but there's a bit of an issue with the basketball program. We'll get to the NFL slate at the end of this hour. David Fletcher works for the Texas Bowl. He reached out, wanted to come on and chat about some of the really cool things they've got going on over there if you're planning on making the trip over to Houston. Or I know we have a lot of listeners in the Houston area who tune in every single day. You want to hear about some of the things they've got going on, way to access tickets and everything that's going on with the Texas Bowl. We'll get to that at the top of the next hour at 1 o'clock. But I want to start with the news of the day. This just broke within the hour, and it is the NCAA making its final ruling on Auburn basketball. Obviously, LSU is under investigation at this point, and as things come out in Arizona and up in Kansas and with Auburn, you kind of take a look and see what they've found and what the punishments may be. So I'll go ahead and briefly run through the timeline and the sequence of events. We're not going to hit everything, but I want to set the stage, and then we'll talk about what the NCAA decided to rule on. I think it's relevant to LSU, certainly. So Chuck Person is the Auburn associate head coach back in 2016. And he is the number one person of interest in this entire investigation. Person was financially suffering a little bit after his time in the NBA and divulged that information to a friend. The friend said, hey, I've got this financial advisor. You may need to go talk to him about some of this stuff and what you can do. So Person decides to do that. Little does he know that this financial advisor is working with the FBI in this massive investigation, the same investigation that was tapping phones, and that's where you see Will Wade's voice come up on that phone call back from 2016, 17, 18, all that timeline. So Chuck Person goes to this financial advisor who is fully in with the FBI. And the FBI, the advisor says, okay, well, I'll loan you some cash, But what you've got to do in return is get me access to some of these student athletes. And person says, okay, we'll do it. So the advisor says, I'll give you $50,000. You don't even have to pay it back. Just get me in front of some of these Auburn basketball players. Person says, all right. So in December 2016, the advisor gives person $15,000 in exchange for a meeting with a player, singularly, and just a player. And in that meeting, which is illegal from the start, you can't even have the meeting, the advisor says, I'll pay, talking to the player, I'll give you $5,000 a month, give you a second cell phone. The player's a little bit uncomfortable with it, but says, I trust Coach Person. No financial agreement is made at that point, but the offer's made. Later in December, there's a second meeting that's got mom and stepdad involved. And in that meeting, the advisor gives an envelope with $1,000 to Person to give to the family. And this is all on wires, and we know that the money came from the FBI. This is all an orchestrated plan, but Person's all caught up in it. And that envelope does go to the player's family. It's $1,000. Then a different player, Person, gives this player's mother about $2,300 over 3 years, pays for a $750 suit for the player. Now, this was a distant family member, but because he was a basketball high-profile recruit, the NCAA saw it as not a distant family member, as a prospective student athlete. Illegal. In total, over this time, working with this financial advisor, exchanging cash with players and meetings and all this kind of stuff, $91,500 changes hands. There's another instance where $1,200 in cash is given over 2 years to a player's family. The mom and stepmom get tickets and lodging at the SEC tournament. All this while the FBI is paying attention. So, this has been going on for 5 years. Chuck Person was prosecuted, was convicted because he pled guilty, and he did not get any jail time. He got community service, and he got put on probation for getting put up in all this. So now, as the FBI is done with all this, we're done. The NCAA gets on the coattails and starts riding. And they look into this, and they interview people, and Auburn essentially lied and denied. They just said, no, I don't think so. No, we're good, nothing. No, Bruce Pearl, never heard of it. Don't know what you're talking about. No, not on our watch. Now, and the NCAA has got this information from the FBI, which is stone-clad, and they've got a conviction in court, but they can't get anything out of Auburn. 5 years goes by, and they rule today. Auburn instituted last year a postseason ban. They weren't going to the NCAA tournament anyway. The NCAA took that into account. They did not give them any more postseason bans. Bruce Pearl got a 2-game suspension. There are reductions in recruiting visits and calls. There's a 4-year probationary period to follow. But essentially, nothing. Chuck Person's got a 10-year show cause. Well, he got convicted in court. That ain't exactly a genius move by the NCAA that they found any information. Essentially, Auburn rolled over and played dead, and the NCAA said, well, I don't got much for you. 2 games for Bruce Pearl. Please sit out these 2 non-conference games. Chuck Person, go away. Auburn, you make the NCAA tournament this year, you're ranked. Fire away. That's what they got.
Yeah, it sounds like the NCAA, they just want you to tell the truth, I guess. You tell the truth, you're good to go. You lie to them. They're gonna...
not the truth. Because we looked at some of these things, and some teams have self-reported, and they've gotten hammered. Missouri football got hammered. Missouri State volleyball got hammered. If you tell them that things happened, they got the information. They can't find any more information. They're incapable of tracking down additional information and hammering out punishment. That's the way I see it from the outside.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I'll rephrase that. It sounds like if you plead the 5th to the NCAA, then you're good to go. You're selling free down the ocean because it's just, man, I don't know. I'm just gonna sound like everyone else, but I don't know what value the NCAA brings to these college programs to this point. They're supposed to have your back. They're supposed to keep everything on the up and up. They're supposed to be in alignment with compliance, but it just seems like a lot of these cases, they just don't go the right way for whatever reason. And I'll point to Emory, just everything that he went through. You would hope that they would return that. They don't. they don't overturn that. They keep it exactly the way it was before. And a lot of these things, it's just no consistency. It's no balance. It's just, they're the judge, jury, executioner, and whatever decision they ended up making, that's just what they want to do. So I think for Auburn, if all that stuff did happen, $91,000, that's nothing to scoff at. All you get is a couple games for your coaches. You don't get a postseason ban. I mean, who comes up? Where are the guidelines? Like, if you commit this crime, then this is the punishment. Like, who comes up with this stuff and where is it laid out at? I just feel like
they just pull it out of the air.
Yeah.
They determined Bruce Pearl got suspended for 2 games after saying, I don't know anything about any of this. They determined in the findings that he did not monitor his program well enough, and he did not ask the right questions when he found out about it. And that's 2 games, whatever. So how does this relate to LSU? Well, it's different in a few ways. One, Bruce Pearl wasn't on the phone. Bruce Pearl wasn't involved with the FBI in any way because he wasn't dealing with this advisor. So you don't have him directly implicated. You would have to find something further to do that. Will Wade is directly implicated. He was on the phone. Mm-hmm. Now, the FBI is using this advisor and giving him cash and playing puppet master to get personnel wrapped up into it, and it worked. And they have that information. They don't have that on Will Wade. So Person did get in trouble, but there's more damning evidence. So I would not sit here and tell you that I think LSU is totally out of the woods and they're fine and the NCAA can't do anything and they'll never come down on LSU. Do I feel more that way than, man, LSU's in big trouble when this hammer comes? Yeah, I do. But they can do whatever they want. And they are now basically holding the football team hostage and the basketball team hostage because they want a piece of Will Wade. They will not close this football investigation because they want lack of institutional control and they want to hammer LSU. If they didn't, they wouldn't be here 4 years later. Yeah. And they're still talking. We know they interviewed Will Wade recently. Nothing came of it. And it seems to me that if you had something and you were ready to roll, you wouldn't go. And they interviewed Devontae Smart. He got suspended for a game. He came back. He played 3 more years. It's 3 years later, and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at these national people who don't have obvious bias like I do. I'm not blind to that. Like, I'm not crazy. Yeah. But I'm looking, and they're all going, this is a huge win for Auburn basketball. The NCAA is not doing anything. And there's a precedent here that if you roll over and say nothing, they just don't find anything.
Yeah, and that's the thing that just drives me crazy with them. There's no consistency. It's just whatever case that does pop up on their desk, they're going to handle that totally different from most other cases. And I think I'll go back to everything. They pointed to other guys that got their academic stuff overturned, but he didn't. I heard his lawyer say that time and time again. So I think at some point there has to be something changed. I think they do have power. I think we did do that in Take or Leave It one time. The Congress was trying to get involved with them and try to give some checks and balances with everything they have going. But if I'm LSU, then I'm feeling more confident than I did before. Because after all this time, you would think that they would have laid the hammer down by now. If they had something solid and they had something that they can really, punish LSU with. It just hasn't happened thus far. So I don't know what, bird in the hand that they're going to pull out of their pocket and say, nah, we got you now. I just don't see how that's possible now. So I'm very, very curious to see how this thing plays out. But if I'm LSU and it's taken this long, I wouldn't be too up in arms about it.
So in summation here, and I get asked this question all the time because everyone knows that I love the LSU basketball program and have so much fun when they're good. I've lived through so many years of my life where they were a non-factor. They were irrelevant. They weren't very good. Some years atrocious. Most years just not very good, not making the tournament. We go to the SEC tournament, maybe win on Wednesday, and then you're out the next day when you play somebody with a reasonable amount of talent. That's not the case anymore. And so I love the fact that LSU is really good and I can get fired up in November and then March is so much fun. And say, well, how do what if the NCAA comes down? And I've been consistent on this since the day Will Wade was told he was suspended back with the SEC championship banner on the line against Vanderbilt. I said, I'm going to choose to bury my head 8 feet down in the sand and blindly follow the basketball team and be excited about it. If the day comes where they say the NCAA has come down, they found this, Will Wade's got a 5-year show cause, he's been fired by, he's got a show cause he can't even coach. Or if there's level 1 violations and he's been fired by the university, then I'll react to that when it comes. But there's very little evidence in previous cases that that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's just not. And I think they've waited this long for a reason. Normally these type of things, they handle these things pretty quickly, especially when all the evidence is right in front of them. They've interviewed everyone. They've talked to everyone. I mean, at this point, it's years ago that we're talking about. Like, what can they find years on later? We're talking about the people with unlimited resources to dig into these things and try to find out stuff and interview people and do all these things. It still hasn't happened yet. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how it's going to go. But if you ask me, I think I'd be alarmed if I'm the NCAA. You haven't found something this far. At what point do you feel like you have to let this thing go?
And one more thing, as we finally come to a close here, I'm looking in the Bayou 4 chat over on YouTube, and there's some thought. David Young says Dick Vitale can kick rocks. Not sure why he has a vendetta against LSU basketball. First of all, Dick's going through a battle with cancer right now, obviously, and I think he's done a marvelous job for college basketball and for pediatric cancer research and for cancer research everywhere. He's done awesome with that, and that disclaimer really does need to be put out there because of the situation he's in right now. But I will say this. Dick Vitale loves college basketball, and it's like college basketball is like his high school daughter. Mm-hmm. And Dick believes that she's a 4.0 student that's getting accepted to Harvard and is perfect in every way and does community service, every weekend. And when in reality, she's sneaking off smoking cigarettes in the car and she's missing curfew and he doesn't know about it. And he's not really aware of the dirty side of what's going on in college basketball. He doesn't want to embrace that. He loves Mike Krzyzewski and he loves Roy Williams and he loves Bill Self and, oh, what a wonderful world this is. John Calipari, what a great coach. They're all doing it. And he just doesn't want to admit it. And then Will Wade gets called on a wiretap. So Dick Vitale decides, well, that's ridiculous. He should be in trouble. Well, they should all be in trouble. Yeah. Don't tell me that Zion Williamson got offered $300,000 to go to Kansas and decided to go to Duke for free. And don't tell me that his parents were paying for that house either. That's the way it goes. And he's just not willing to jump on board with that because the college basketball he knows is about developing young men and make 6 bounce passes before you shoot a layup. And it's just, he's lost touch. And that happens, but it's just the way that it is. And that's why he continues to do things with LSU. Plus, I think he's getting information from people in the sport who they are using him as a mouthpiece. So we don't need to talk much more about Dick Vitale. He's a little out of touch in this world. But Auburn basically gets a nothing burger today from the NCAA, and I'm kind of happy about it because it kind of means that they, generally speaking, don't do very much when they get their hand with the sword. All right, let's take a time out, come back, and talk a little about LSU and Georgia Tech tomorrow. Big game in Atlanta at Huntington Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
BrakeMedics.com. Brake Medics, great new service here in Baton Rouge. We tell you all the time, brake care anywhere. They will come to you, come to your home, come to your place of business, and they will repair, service those brakes at your convenience. And it is such a convenient service here in Baton Rouge. The convenience is awesome, but how about the pricing they've got for this unbelievable grand opening holiday season? For most vehicles, you can get a single axle replaced for $199, and then you can do front and rear for about $379. And this is not just pads. The customer gets new pads, new rotors all the way around, and they've got a warranty on it, 24 months, 24,000 miles nationwide when you go to BrakeMedics.com and request that free quote.
Yeah, all you got to do is go to BrakeMedics.com. You fill in your make, year, model of your vehicle, and whatever brake symptoms that you may be dealing with your vehicle at the time, they'll have all those options for you right there on the website. You just put your name, email, and phone number, and they'll get back to you today with a free quote on BrakeMedics.com.
They can come to your home. They can come to your office. You don't have to catch a ride. You don't have to sit in the waiting room at the repair shop. You don't have to wait all day for them. No one's got time for that. They'll come to you. You don't have to deal with the traffic either in Baton Rouge. That can be an issue at times. Again, BrakeMedics.com. They will come to you. Brake Medics. We make house calls.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Hey, what's up, y'all? T-Bob here from my friends at All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge. The holiday season is here, and they got
just
great
a bank
holiday
for our
deals.
clients.
Head over to All-Star.
We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
By Don Juan Cigar Bar. The Right Radio Hours return. Kick Rocks, Ask Ryan, all that good stuff. Hopefully you'll join us as well. 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Out in the open field here on a Friday. Hope you're winding down your work week. I'm excited for the weekend. No football that I've got to get to. Got a date night coming up tonight. Those are about to be few and far between with the kiddo coming. Gonna do some gumbo on Sunday. Gonna be a nice little weekend. But Saturday night, you know why we're doing the date night tonight? Because tomorrow we're watching basketball. That is what we're doing. LSU and Georgia Tech. Holiday Hoops Giving over there in Atlanta, which means they're having a quadruple header, back to back to back to back over there in Atlanta. Hopefully they run a little bit more on time than the SEC baseball tournament because there's a clock. They probably will. But LSU and Georgia Tech set to tip off at 5 o'clock our time here, 6 o'clock over there in Atlanta. I'll tell you this. I just got a text message from Chris Blair. They got on their charter plane today, and all of a sudden they all kind of felt the whole plane tilt to the right, and they kind of stopped, and everybody kind of looked out. And I've got a picture of it. Taylor, I should have sent this to you. This is my bad. But they've got their plane stuck on the ground. It's like if your truck gets stuck in the mud because it rained, their plane is stuck. And
this is the LSU plane?
This is the LSU team plane. I'll show you this.
Oh, sheesh. How'd they get in the grass?
I'm going to send it to Taylor. He missed the runway.
Oh, this is landing or this is taking off?
This is taking off.
Oh, my goodness.
Do I need to text it to you or email it to you? Email it to you? All right, I'm going to email it to Taylor. But, everybody's safe and sound, so we're not in a it's not, it's not as if there's any dangerous situation, but they're going to be a little bit delayed getting to Atlanta. The good news is it's just noon on Friday and they don't play until. But I mean, I don't know if there's some sort of practice they're supposed to get there for. Whatever. They're just a little bit delayed. Chris Blair, everybody's fine, but they are stuck at the airport trying to get off the ground. But this is an interesting game because I think there are some people that follow the basketball program casually who are not going to dive in until we start playing conference games, that you just can't quite drum up the excitement for Liberty and Belmont and Texas Southern and Ohio, and just the way it is, and that's fine. Georgia Tech's got a little cachet. They were in the tournament last year, ran through the ACC tournament, and won that. So this is a team that's had some success and is very veteran under Josh Pastner. If you'll remember Josh Pastner, he took over for John Calipari at Memphis at 31 years of age when Calipari went to Kentucky. And he's in his 5th year at Georgia Tech, and they've been okay. They've just been okay. And that's kind of what Georgia Tech is. You're right there in that hotbed of Atlanta that's got so much talent, but you're talking about, a tough place to recruit to. It's in the middle of a concrete jungle in the city, and it's not a cool place to go, really. You'd rather go somewhere else, and that's generally what people do. So kind of a summation of Georgia Tech, and then we'll talk about how this game should look. They're average just about everywhere. Defensive efficiency, 142nd in the country. Offensive efficiency, 120th. They don't do anything great. They're not terrible either side either. They are, interestingly enough, 16th in the country in three-point shooting percentage. But they're 235th in the country in terms of percentage of points from the three-point line. So that made me go look up one more stat. I go, well, how many do they shoot? They're 319th in the country in attempted threes, which is almost towards the bottom.
Yeah.
So what it means is they're taking really good threes and they're making them. They just don't shoot a lot of them. Where does that come when you talk about LSU? LSU right now allows 43% of the points they allow are from threes. That is 4th most in the country, which tells me that LSU doesn't allow very many points, and the only thing they're really giving up is threes. So I wonder if Georgia Tech, who is a good shooting team, doesn't try to shoot a little bit more, because that's really the only thing that teams have had some success with against LSU.
Yeah. I don't know. I think for them, I think everything goes through their point guard, Michael Devo.
Yep.
And he's their knight in shining armor. He breaks the defense down. He gets into the paint. He gets his shot. He reminds me a lot of D'Angelo Russell, just a low lefty to the ground, not going to kill you with his explosiveness, not going to blow by you and dunk on anybody. He's just going to get to his spots and look for his shots. They have a couple guys shooting a high percentage from three, but the rest of the team isn't very good. So I think it's really going to be up to the point guard to continue to work that high pick and roll, get in the paint, look for his shots, and kind of dump the ball off. I don't really think they're going to be looking to probably shoot 8 or 9 threes a half. I don't see that happening. I see their point guard really trying to break the defense down, and if they do get some open looks, they'll probably take them.
So Devo is the guy you're talking about, and he is worth knowing. If you're an LSU fan, you're going to watch this game, and you don't listen to anything I say in this segment. This is what you need to listen to. Michael Devo is a stud college basketball player. He's 6'5". He is a senior. He is 2nd in the country in points per game at 23.5 points per game. He's 4th in the nation in three-point percentage. He shoots 55% from three. And that's one of those things. This early in the season, I like to add caveats to some of those stats because you can still skew them. Listen to what he's done from the three-point line in the games he's played. 4 out of 6, 3 out of 5, 2 out of 4, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 9, 5 out of 10. Like, he doesn't, it's not like he's shooting 13 of them a game. He's out there chucking them. He takes good ones and he makes them at a 55% clip, which is awesome. He scored 37 on Georgia. He scored 33 on Wisconsin in a game that his team only scored 66. He scored half their points in that game. He also leads them in assists. He's got the ball a ton. And what you talked about D'Angelo Russell, and I don't think that's far off. To me, he reminds me in college of a left-handed Javonte Smart because he's not super explosive quick. He's savvy. He's got some hesitation in his game, and he shoots that set shot.
Yeah.
Now, it's left-handed, but he shoots a set shot. Yeah. So most of the time when you're talking about a team and they've got a dude who's leading everything in what they do, you put your best defender on him and you go to work. Well, we know that LSU's not going to do that. They're going to switch everything they do. Yep. So the key is to make sure that you go ahead and get that switch onto him and don't allow there to be a little bit of a gap when you switch where he can raise up and shoot when they get into a screen action. They just got to know where he is all the time.
Yeah. And to me, I wouldn't mind if Coach Wade implemented a blitz where you just double team him off some of these pick and rolls and just try to get the ball out of his hands and try to let other guys beat you off the dribble. Because just watching this LSU team all year. It's so tough for guys to get it off the dribble, off the perimeter, and do have much success, especially when you got Efton and Tari in the middle waiting for you, and they're going to block your shot if you try to lay it in at the goal. So I wouldn't mind blitzing it, just getting the ball out of his hands. I would wonder what his usage rate is. I bet it's out of this world if you could pull that up. So I would try to get the ball out of his hands because he's savvy, man. He's not going to take bad shots. He gets to his spots. He takes his time. So you're going to have to find a way to limit his opportunities, especially if it's a close game.
Now, LSU playing offense, and we talk about defense, guard, and Devo. This is a Georgia Tech team that's going to play a good bit of zone. They do a lot of that under Josh Pastner. They've got a ton of length. Their starting lineup is 6'2", 6'5", 6'7", 6'7", 6'10". So they're going to be really long. They play some zone. They play some man, but they're going to play some zone as well. And I think a lot of teams are going to start zoning LSU because of the shooting deficiency. Now, Will Wade spent all last weekend after the game talking about how they've got a whole week off. They've got to get the offense going. To me, the first thing is they got to get into their offense against this zone because it's designed to slow you down. So when you get a stop, go. Even when you get it out of the net, go. And see if you can get down the floor before they set up in a zone or even in man-to-man so you can try to get in that and get them out of position. If you can't, you got to go quick because the last thing LSU can afford to do is pass it around the perimeter against that zone, float it back and forth. Then there's 6 on the shot clock, and you're going to have to force a 3 with somebody who's not a very good three-point shooter.
Yeah.
They got to get going.
Yeah, that's definitely what you got to do. And I think that's kind of what this team has done well all year, especially on the defensive side. They turn it into points. And I think if they do go into the zone, I think not just shooting perimeter threes. I think you got to get the ball to the middle and to keep attacking the goal. I think Coach Wade does implement that. You'll see Darius Tays pop up to that free throw line. You'll see Efton pop up to the free throw line, rotate the ball around the perimeter, get it in the inside, and then force those guys to collapse in the middle. And maybe if you get an open 3, you'll take it. But I think for us in this game, I think it's going to be slowing down Devo. I think that's going to be high on the priority list. You slow him down, you definitely up your chances of winning this game.
He scores 16, they ain't winning.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's going to have to go for 25, 27, I think, for them to beat an LSU team that's just got more talent. You were talking about getting to the high post. I think Darius Days and Tari Eason are the guys at the high post that have got to go to work. But it's 5 o'clock, ESPN2, our time. Taylor, you got that picture you can put up for the folks? Look at this plane. It's just off the runway at the Baton Rouge private airport where they were chartering from. They're stuck. So hopefully they've gotten this thing figured out. I don't know how you get a plane de-stuckified. Like, how do you – I mean, you can't just call your high school buddy, get some chains, and start rolling it. Like, we got an airplane here. So hopefully they're able to figure that out and get LSU over to the ATL to get things rolling. Can't wait to see LSU and Georgia Tech. Incidentally, LSU now, because of the loss last night by Purdue, one of 8 undefeated teams in all of college basketball. Arkansas is one of those. They've got a tough game against Oklahoma coming up this week. So maybe a chance if you can beat Georgia Tech, you can whittle that thing down a couple more and be one of the last unbeaten teams in all of college basketball. I would like that very much. The Tigers still number 2 in the net even after Purdue's loss. So things are good right now. Got to continue to prove yourself, and that starts tomorrow with Georgia Tech. I've got an offensive coordinator name I'd like to toss into the mix. Talk about that next on Hunt and Hill.
Holding down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Week 14.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. The place is going to be convenient for you during that inconvenient time, and it's even more convenient now. Now you have 8 convenient locations, with the Bruley location just opening up. So go check them out online, patientplusuc.com, because remember, they are your place for your sniffles, for your colds, for your stitches, for your COVID test. They have all that available over at Patient Plus. For more information, visit them at patientplusuc.com. Get in and get better.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, got a coordinator name. This is not one that's going to shock you. I didn't pull this out of thin air. It's not a name that you haven't heard yet, but it is one that I think there's reason to believe maybe in the mix. I would certainly not indicate that he's been locked up or hired or that I have some source. I just feel like based on the timeline, based on the way things are moving, that it's realistic to believe that Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator at Cincinnati, has a chance to be LSU's next offensive coordinator. He, of course, has a playoff game to get ready for. His career arc is unlike any I've really ever seen. This is a guy who went to Grand Valley State, where Brian Kelly started, and they were GAs together back at Grand Valley State. At that point, Denbrock was working with offensive tackles and tight ends. Brian Kelly was with defensive backs when he was a GA. So then Denbrock goes to Michigan State, where he works with quarterbacks and receivers. Illinois State he's working with offensive tackles and tight ends. So he spent his time with tackles, tight ends, receivers, quarterbacks, all spots on the offense. Then he goes to Grand Valley State for 4 years and is their offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Grand Valley State. I've never heard of this. Between 95 and 96, he becomes their defensive coordinator and linebackers coach. He went from offensive coordinator to defensive coordinator at the same place. Then he was with the Buffalo Destroyers, who were part of the AFL. He was there for a couple of years. Then he was with Stanford on the offensive side of the ball, Notre Dame with the offensive side of the ball, Washington offensive line. Then he finally gets on with Brian Kelly in 2010 tight ends coach at Notre Dame, wide receivers coach at Notre Dame, then finally takes over as offensive coordinator in 2014. In 2014, and in 2015-16, their associate head coach, wide receivers coach. Then he goes to Cincinnati in 17 with Luke Fickell and becomes their offensive coordinator, where he's been working with quarterbacks and tight ends. So just that brief stint on the defensive side of the ball for 3 seasons. But he's been with Cincinnati now for 4 seasons. You look kind of how they've done things. I've watched a little bit of Cincinnati this year, and you're talking about a guy who's 57 years old, has been with Brian Kelly at multiple stops, and it would make sense that that would be a guy that Brian Kelly was interested in.
Yeah, that would definitely make sense. The coaching world is definitely all about networking and who you know, and he definitely knows Coach Kelly, so that's not a bad guy to know right now. And I think for me, I always look at 2 things: touchdowns and yards per play. Cincinnati was 4th in the country. I know they're in the AAC, but
they are.
But you're still 4th in the country in yards per play, and 3rd in the country in offensive touchdowns. 67 offensive touchdowns. They're at 6.95 a clip yards per play. And you go through and look at the college football playoff. Every team that's won a national championship, they've been over 6.2 yards per play. So they're well over the mark that you want to be at. And that's just, for me, it lets you know that they're running efficient plays. They're making things easy for their players. And he's getting guys, open and getting guys touchdowns. And that's kind of what we've been missing this year at LSU, especially the latter half of the season, just watching the offense kind of stall out time and time again. So that's definitely not a bad name. I would definitely be up for that.
I'm infatuated, and I don't have a great reason. It's probably a Joe Brady bias, maybe a Lincoln Riley bias, maybe a Sean McVay bias. I'm biased towards guys who are closer to 30 than 55. That doesn't mean that you can't do it the other way and have a guy who's older. I just like younger guys who have grown up in this era of spreading the field and those kind of route concepts and running some hurry up and some tempo and stuff. And look, I think Steve Ensminger doesn't get enough credit for what he did in 2019. Most people think that. But the fact is that he said in interviews, and Ed Ogeron said in press conferences, and we know that Steve Ensminger was with Joe Burrow in 18, and it was just a fine offense, and then it was unbelievable the next year because of some of the things Joe Brady came in and helped with that Steve Ensminger picked up very quickly because he's a great football coach and a great mind. And, that means that anybody could do it, just doesn't mean that they will. So I'm infatuated with hiring a young guy who's firing all cylinders. Now, Jake Peetz is a really young guy, and I wouldn't say that LSU's offense fired in all cylinders this year for a number of reasons, and I think Peetz being one. But this one I'm okay with. I'm just indifferent almost.
Yeah, I think. Especially since we've had to wait so long for a guy to get in here, it's just kind of like, man, who's going to be the coordinator? What are we doing? It's kind of
Well, I'm trying to connect those dots. It's like they're hiring guys who aren't coaching in playoff games. Like, okay, what about guys that are?
Yeah, so I trust Coach Kelly. I'm going to stick to that. That's what I've said for the longest, and just look at his track record of all the coaches he's hired. I think this would not be a bad hire. I think you don't get the University of Cincinnati into a college football playoff if you're not running on all cylinders, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So you give him the talent that he can get from Louisiana, Keyshawn Bouttes of the world, and all the talent we have, Jack Beshers of the world.
Got to keep Keyshawn around.
Yeah, I heard some stuff the other day, but I'm not going to. I think it was all rumors, speculation, but I think you give him some of that talent. I think you can definitely see that being brought to Baton Rouge and having some success.
Tell me what your checklist looks like for an offensive coordinator. Like, what are some characteristics you would like to see in an LSU offensive coordinator?
Yeah, I want a guy that's innovative, just not stale and predictable. I think that's kind of what we've kind of seen over the years, especially through that Les Miles era, kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. So for me, constantly evolving, constantly being innovative, and making things easy for your players, man. You got some of the best athletes in the country that you're going to be able to put in position to make plays. It shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be, like you're trying to, solve a big puzzle. It should be, you're going out there and guys are, making plays and having fun. I think that's, for me, the best coordinators. They're running up and down the sideline having fun because it's easy for them. So for me, I just want a guy out there that can put the players in the best position possible and continue to evolve that way.
And it's interesting because I spent the whole hiring process thing, and I want a guy who's got an expertise on one side of the ball, and you can take care of that because his system is going to be in place from day one, and that's what they're going to run. And Brian Kelly's just not really that guy. He's been phenomenal everywhere he's gone at running the show and being atop the organization and making sure you got good people doing their jobs. But there was something intoxicating to me about Lincoln Riley coming in, and this is what we're running on offense. And then Lane Kiffin coming in, this is what we run on offense. To the other side of things, Dave Aranda coming in and going, this is what our defense looks like, and I'm going to run it. Brian Kelly didn't really have that. Now they've run the football very well, and they've scored a lot of points everywhere he's been. But I can't point to a philosophy that he has and then start connecting dots with guys who do that. Mm-hmm. It's not. I mean, he's worked with Denbrock a lot. Denbrock's been his offensive coordinator before, so obviously that part of it makes sense. But I can't sit here and tell you that Mike Denbrock's got some system that I know, because that's what it looks like when I turn on my TV. It's just not that way, and who cares what I think? But I was hoping to have something that was going to be what we do. Even though I hate Mississippi State's system, and I don't think it's going to work in the SEC long term. I'm looking up at Mississippi State on the TV right now. I know what that offense is going to look like the first day he sat on the sidelines.
Yeah. I think for Coach Kelly, I think he's got to continue to do what he did at Notre Dame, and that's bring in offensive linemen who can block zone scheme, and that's something that we struggle with a ton this year. And you're going to see multiple tight end sets. You're going to see 2 tight ends on the field. You're going to see a lot of 12 personnel, and they're going to work the play-action game off of that, and that's just not what we've watched at LSU this season. I think for Coach Kelly, they do a lot of that stuff from the gun and not from under center like they may have done years past. So that's exactly not what Cincinnati runs. They run a lot more spread stuff. They spread people out with Ritter. It's more air raid. But I think with a lot of these coordinators, especially like a coach like Denbrock, he's coached on the defensive side. He's coached multiple positions. I don't think it'd be a big hurdle to switch some personnel packages and runner stuff, because really there's really only maybe 6 or 7 run plays, and everyone kind of runs the same one. So those are kind of going to be married together. It's really how you work the play action game and your passing concepts with that.
We shall see. Rest of the staff on the road. Big recruiting weekend coming up. Let's take a timeout. Close out hour number 1 next. It's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
FanDuel!
Sports betting is coming to Louisiana, and there's no better place to get in on the action than on the FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel Sportsbook. To celebrate, FanDuel is giving you $100 in free site credit when you register early. That's right. Register and verify now. You'll receive a free $100 bonus when we're live.
Saw FanDuel made some waves yesterday. Paid Pat McAfee $30 million a year over a few years. They haven't quite gotten us to $30 million a year. I'll let you know if that happens, and if they do, I'll be able to spend a bunch of money in the FanDuel Sportsbook. But right now, where we are, I can spend $100 for free, and so can you. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. $100 free site credit right when you create that account. It's so easy to use. They're always hooking you up with great offers. They've got odds boosters. They've got super boosts on the weekends. You can live bet. That's a ton of fun. Look at those lines moving as the game moves on, and download that app. You can just punch in that live bet, and when you win, you get paid in as little as 2 hours. So download that FanDuel Sportsbook app. Register now. Get $100 in free site credit. You must be 21 and present in Louisiana. Bonus is issued on a non-withdrawable site credit that expires 7 days after FanDuel accepts its first real money sports wager in Louisiana. Unique user identity verification is required. The offer ends on the go live date. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Follow us on Twitter at 104.5 ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 104.5 ESPN.
Hollingsworth Richards Ford is a proud sponsor of the LSU Tigers. For over 30 years, we've been a member of LSU's transportation team. And when you buy your new Ford at Hollingsworth Richards Ford, you'll get peace of mind with our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's right, a nationwide powertrain warranty with every new Ford purchase. Only at Hollingsworth Richards Ford, located at 7787 Florida Boulevard. Or online 24/7 at HollingsworthRichardsFord.com. Go Tigers! See dealer for details.
Business owners wondering how you might stay operational during the coronavirus outbreak? Our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products may have the solution. Interactive whiteboards allow you to interact face-to-face, although employees may be off-site or at home. Also a great way to have customers or vendors correspond without being on site. With offices in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Mandeville, and Lafayette, Gulf Coast Office Products is never far. Visit them online, gcopnet.com.
At 9 o'clock, the news is happening now, and it's happening live on WBRZ+.
The news you want when you want it from the news team you trust.
The weather first, breaking news, exclusive Nakamoto investigations, and problem-solving 2 on your side stories.
there is no more waiting.
Prime time is your time to watch the 9 o'clock news on WBRZ Plus.
Watch WBRZ Plus on
The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Excited about our College Bowl pick'em this year. Twin Peaks and Coors Light presenting that College Bowl pick'em. If you win, you got to pick all the winners. If you win $2,021 in cash. You can go to 1045ESPN.com to register. Make your picks with the beginning with the bowls that are Tuesday, December 21st. Second place wins a 2-night stay at the Beau Rivage. That's not bad. Third place gets $200 in Twin Peaks gift cards. College Bowl pick'em presented by Twin Peaks, Coors Light, and 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Heisman tomorrow. I don't want to diminish Bryce Young's performance. He's going to win the Heisman Trophy. That drive against Auburn was excellent. He played great against Georgia, and he deserves to win the award. Kind of a dud Heisman season all year. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. I think you just look at the draft board. It's just not that year of just phenomenal quarterbacks. You can just look all over the country like, man, that dude's got to be a player. It's just not that type of buzz this year. And then obviously all the upsets and just and Cincinnati being in the college football playoffs.
You're so mad about Cincinnati.
It's just a weird college season, man. Our Tigers, the bottom of the SEC West. Like, what are we doing?
So, I think Bryce Young had an awesome year, and his statistics are great. I think he's maybe a victim of we are just so deaf to Alabama's success. We just expect it. It is what it is. They're going to go out there and win by 50 every single week, and they didn't necessarily do that. I mean, I don't think Bryce Young played great against LSU. He was pretty poor for 3 quarters against Auburn, and then brought him back to life there at the last second drive. And then, as we talked about all year long, you win the Heisman at the end of November and into December, and he put on a show against what we think is the best defense in college football. So, yeah, he deserves it. But, I mean, I wish that there was a little more drama, a little more excitement about it. It just kind of feels like a dud. Everybody that we thought might make a push, C.J. Stroud, Kenneth Walker had some opportunities late, great against Michigan, and then no good. And Matt Corral was great early, then he got hurt, and it kind of sputtered out. There's nothing happened at Oklahoma. Caleb Williams got it was just there's just not even a runner-up. It's just pitiful.
Yeah, I think it's runaway at this point. I wonder who else is going to get a first place vote. Who's going to get a first place vote, and they're going to take one away from Bryce.
I'll tell you who will get some first place votes is Will Anderson is going to get some first place votes.
I don't think he's
not invited, but they do it based on they already know the votes when they invite the finalists.
Okay.
And so he finished 4th. They've already got that.
Okay.
I guarantee you I bet he got a lot. I bet he may have gotten more first place votes than whoever gets second.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't get how he was not in the top 3. I know it's probably gonna, make people just very, very upset if you got 2 Alabama guys up there at the Heisman finalists. But man, to me, he's had a year. And to me, that Alabama defense, you take him off that defense, it's not going to be the same. They've given up points, they've given up yards, and he's just been a consistent key for that defense for me. So I wouldn't mind him getting a little first-place votes.
I'll chuckle at the Big Ten homers who give Aiden Hutchinson first-place Heisman votes and don't give it to Will Anderson. And Aiden Hutchinson's awesome. He's going to be a top 5 pick. He's great. But Will Anderson's season was spectacular, more so than Aiden Hutchinson. So Heisman tomorrow. I will not watch a second. I got Tigers and Yellow Jackets to get into. But I do remember a couple years ago just watching Joe win that thing, and that was a really awesome moment for something that we hadn't seen here. Most of us had not seen it, an LSU Tiger win the Heisman since Cannon did it back in 1959. That'll do it for hour number 1. It's been a fast-moving hour. If you missed any of it, you can catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com, or on YouTube, brought to you by Bayou. For David Fletcher from the Texas Bowl is going to kick off hour number 2 with us. If you're going to the Texas Bowl, if you're in the Houston area, you want to know what's going on, David's got you covered there. So I'm excited to chat with him a little bit later, and then we'll talk about the NFL slate that is to follow. It's Hunt and Hill. You're listening to the Capital City's leader in sports talk, of course. That is 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard. Aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Come celebrate the small thing.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge. Innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And now 0% for 60 months on Ford F-150s. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
.1049 KNXX Donaldsonville and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Barreling through a Friday edition of Hunt and Hill, 1 hour in the rearview mirror, 1 to go until we shut it down for the weekend. Let's go out to the phone lines now. David Fletcher, GM over there with just about everybody in Houston, Lone Star Entertainment, Texacs Texas Bowl. Of course, that's where LSU is headed. I don't even know where to start, David. What are you?
Well, Hunt, Jeremy, great to spend some time with you. And as we talked about in the pre-work, I've got the longest title in sports, and I'm happy to do it. But the most important thing I am today is I'm the executive director of the Texacs Texas Bowl, and we're thrilled to welcome the LSU Tigers back to Houston to start the new year.
No, look, we didn't know, and we're pretty, convinced LSU was probably not going to be bowling based on how things were going mid-season. And LSU finished strong, got those 2 wins, and got bowl eligible with a win over the Aggies just after Thanksgiving. And it came out that LSU is headed to Houston. I think that was music to the ears of a lot of LSU fans. Like, I'm a native Shreveporter, and that would have been nice to head up to Shreveport, but it's a lot better to go to the big city of Houston and play in an NFL stadium. What was so attractive about LSU to the Texas Bowl?
Well, a lot of things, Hunt. And, I'll tell you, you guys are probably familiar. Your listeners may not be. We are a Big 12 SEC matchup, but we do not control our SEC destiny. It is a selection made by the conference. We certainly had input along the way, and as you were, I was equally excited to see LSU become bowl eligible, beating the Aggies on that final night of the season. And for us, there's a lot of things to point to. Number one, a tremendous matchup. A lot of purple in Houston to start the new year. They'll take on the Kansas State Wildcats. Both teams, previous champions of the bowl game here in Houston. First time we've ever had that matchup in our 16-year history of 2 past champions. You look at LSU in particular, no bones about it. This is an LSU market here in Houston. Aggies and Longhorns are obviously very prevalent, but just the fact that the Bayou Bengals have such a strong presence here in Houston, tremendous fan base, and a lot of reasons to be down here, whether it be university recruitment. We know the recruiting side is a huge part of the equation, major donors, and just fans in general. So, out here at NRG Stadium, we couldn't be more thrilled to have this matchup. Both big-time brands. Going to be a really fun night here in Houston, capping a fun week with a lot of activities for the fans that are coming in, and a great way to start the new year if you're a college football fan.
Yeah, that's where I'm going next, because obviously a ton of LSU alums and fans in Houston. It's an easy drive down I-10 if you want to go over there and get tickets and go to the game. But there's a lot going on before they kick the football. I know there's a lot of music acts and a lot of activities the Tiger fans can participate before the game. Could you let us in on some of that?
Absolutely. Look, nothing is bigger in Texas than music and football. Just part of the culture down here, much like it is down there in Baton Rouge. We've got a full week of festivities for the fans, all of it benefiting a tremendous charity in DePelchin Children's Center, which is the largest provider of foster adoptive services in the state of Texas. Rodeo Bowl will get us kicked off on New Year's Day night, Saturday night in Houston. Be great live music and one of the most unique bowl week events in the country. It will be open to the public, and certainly welcome fans traveling down from Baton Rouge and all around the South to come down and check it out. One of the most unique events that you'll ever see, a combination of the 2 teams, student athletes themselves, competing in rodeo-style competition. Yes, there are live livestock involved in terms of safely involved. A really unique event. And then following that, a major Texas concert. So it's a great night for the family. Tickets start at less than $15, and it all benefits that charity organization, DePelchin. So you're doing something great for the kids. Our free concert, our Carbach kickoff concert on Monday night will be down at the Rustic in downtown Houston. We'll be featuring a major Texas artist as well. Again, free for fans. You do want to go to taxacttexasbowl.com to get your game tickets, but also to get your tickets for these events. This is a free show, but it is ticketed, so go ahead and jump on the website now, taxacttexasbowl.com, and get your tickets for that show. And then we'll get game day started out here at NRG Park early on game day. RV lots will open up at 7 a.m. The rest of the grounds will open up at 4 o'clock, and we'll have music, giveaways, great entertainment. The teams entering the stadium with the spirit walks, all the passion and pageantry that make college football so unique will be on full display and kick off at 8 o'clock. I know a lot of your fans are going to be excited about the basketball side of things that night. Big night in Baton Rouge with the unveiling of Dale Brown Court. We'll have that game on here in the big screens in Bud Light Plaza, and all the fans that do make it out to this game will get to cheer on their Tigers as they take on the Wildcats that night, both on the basketball court and then here at NRG Stadium.
David, you're singing to me talking about watching basketball with a Bud Light before the game. That is right up my alley, and I think a lot of Tiger fans will take you up on that. I think as you were talking there's so many things that were taken away from us as fans and just as a society over the last year and a half. And just to have the kids be able to go to bowl games and participate in those events leading up to the game, which was kind of taken away from them last year, is such a great thing. And I'm sure that just means the world to y'all to be able to put on that event like you're used to.
No question, Hunt. I mean, our business, I run a company here in Houston called Lone Star Sports and Entertainment, which is part of the Houston Texans organization. We do a ton of events in the live event space, the TaxAct Texas Bowl being one of them. And, look, the last 18 months, 2 years have been really hard on our business, really hard on our staff, certainly on our community for a variety of reasons. We understand that. And we are taking all the precautions we need to make sure that all of these events are safe, but more importantly, fun. And that's what we're really back to. We're back to having fun. Nothing brings people together like college football, and at least certainly down here in these parts. And, the opportunity to bring people back together, to give these experiences to the student athletes, to the coaches, to the families. We've got a great staff here that works very closely with ESPN, our partner on the game, to make these events come together, because we only get one shot with all of them. And so we're looking forward to doing that again, and certainly to seeing fans back out here all season long for the NFL side. We've been able to do that. We've been able to do that through our college events, but something special about these bowl games and the impact they have on the community. I mentioned the Pelchin Children's Center and how great that organization is and how the game itself and all the activities benefit it. But, certainly the idea of bringing people back into our community, traveling in during a period of time where, we haven't had a whole lot of activity in that space is something that a lot of us are really excited to be able to back doing again. And nothing better than the Southern hospitality here in Houston. I can promise you that.
So I got a chance of playing 2 bowl games, one of them being the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Got my share of Chick-fil-A there, and then I got a chance to go to the Outback Bowl and probably had enough Outback for a lifetime. What are the players going to be getting with this Texas Bowl?
Yeah, it's a great question, Jeremy. And, you lucked out, man. I definitely would say I would have loved to have experienced those 2 trips, if nothing else, for the food. So, look, Houston is the cultural and culinary capital of the South. I know you got a pretty good deal right down the road in New Orleans as well, and there's a lot of that great home cooking here. But for the players, we certainly work very closely with the administration to ensure we're abiding by the nutrition guidelines and the things they want. But the reality is, look, hey, we're in Texas. We like to eat. Houston's a place you can do that. We'll have tons of great, good company barbecue for the guys, especially out at Rodeo Bowl. I'm sure we'll find a way. Don't tell the guys over at campus, but I'm sure we'll find a way to get some Bluebell ice cream into them, and all the great things that make these road trips a fun experience. Having been on a few myself on the team side with the Texans, I'm always amazed at how many calories are consumed by these student athletes, and we're going to do our part to make sure they live up to the billing. That's for sure.
How are ticket sales going?
Really good. It's been great to see the enthusiasm around this matchup. LSU has sold out of their allotment, which they did earlier this week right out of the gate. So that's a really promising sign. Kansas State has reported they're close as well, and not surprising, both teams have traveled very well historically to their bowl sites, particularly here in Houston. Locally, we've had a really strong showing for years. We're the top game in the country in terms of attendance the last 5 years, outside of the traditional New Year's Six. We're a top 5 game overall here in Houston, have a wonderful local fan base that supports college football, and it's been a great start. Still good tickets available, though. TaxActTexasBowl.com. You can also jump on Ticketmaster and get those. I know for LSU fans that are listening in your parts, again, the university has sold through their allotment. So best place to go is TaxActTexasBowl.com. We expect a huge crowd out here. It is a little bit different being after the new year, but for us, it's a great opportunity to have the stage to ourselves here in Houston. Two incredible institutions taking on each other in a place that has been known to put on pretty good events over the years at NRG Stadium, and we're looking forward to a great night come January 4th.
This obviously wasn't the season LSU fans wanted, but the bowl destination is awesome, and that's been reflected in the fact that LSU's sold out their allotment. It's just easy to get to, and it's in a great place, and you get a high-profile Power 5 opponent. So I think LSU fans are fired up about it, and I think you're going to see a big crowd over there. So we appreciate you coming on, David. Thanks so much. Have a great holiday season. We'll see you over there in Houston.
Jeremy, looking forward to it. And I will say in closing, you're exactly right about, maybe not the season they expected. This is really coming full circle for us here in Houston. As you all know very, very well, the Tigers season was impacted by Hurricane Ida, as was the region. We had an opportunity to work very closely with LSU administration to bring them here to Houston, to NRG Stadium, to practice that first week of the season, get prepared. Again, I know it wasn't the start they wanted, but just the idea of bringing the Tigers back home once again is something we're really proud of here in Houston, and looking forward to a great night with them.
TaxAgTexasBowl.com for your tickets. Thanks, David.
Thanks, guys.
David Fletcher. He is the Executive VP over there of the TaxAct. I really mean that. I know that everyone will listen to that segment and go, oh, you had the guy on, he wants to promote the bowl. But, Houston, one, being a big city, tons of hotel rooms, easy to get to with a huge alumni base. You're playing a Power 5 team. I don't mean to disparage everybody, but, this is better than going to the Birmingham Bowl and playing UCF. It just is. And I realize that 8 o'clock on a Tuesday is late, but they're going to have an awesome time there with the music, with the food, the basketball game on beforehand with Kentucky. You can watch it with a bunch of Tiger fans and a cold beer in your hand, and then go in there and watch the Tigers play, and you won't get to do that again for another 8 months. So I think it's a really good situation for LSU to have gone to, even though 6-6 ain't exactly what we showed up for.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll say this all the time. You only get so many opportunities to go out there and play. In about 2 months, maybe less, people are going to be missing football again, and people are going to be wanting to see the Tigers again. You don't have to do that. You guys can show up to the Texas Bowl and watch the Tigers one more time and watch them go out with a bang and get over 500, man. 7-6. So not where we want to be, but better than 6-6.
Second time out here, come back, talk the NFL slate through. It's next on a Friday edition of Hunt and Hill.
Serving up the latest from the sports world. It's Hunt and Hill. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com. 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank and Trust are in the
Hancock
spirit.
Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. The place is going to be convenient for you during that inconvenient time, and it's even more convenient now. Now you have 8 convenient locations, with the Bruley location just opening up. So go check them out online, patientplusuc.com, because remember, they are your place for your sniffles, for your colds, for your stitches, for your COVID test. They have all that available over at Patient Plus. For more information, visit them at patientplusuc.com. Get in and get better.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
All this and more, Monday 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Good time there talking Texas Bowl. If you want tickets, LSU's allotment sold out through the school, so you do have to go to texacttexasbowl.com if you want to grab tickets for LSU and Kansas State. All right, let's go through the NFL schedule, Mr. Hill. We always start in Tier 4, the trash, and we work all the way up to Tier 1, the gold. We'll start in Tier 4. Seahawks are at the Texans. Speaking of Houston, Jamal Adams out for the year over there in Seattle. Tyrod's hurt again. I guess we're looking at Davis Mills. The Texans have just quit, and the Seahawks aren't making the playoffs. This is just not a fun game to look at.
Yeah, just 2 bad teams. Just Seattle. That was my, what was it? What we call it? Our hard takes or our hot takes, I should say. I said Seattle would take a step back, and that's exactly what they did. This year. They definitely did.
Tier 4 more. The Lions are at the Broncos. I mean, the Lions are red hot. They're coming off 1 win. Melvin Gordon is questionable for Denver. What do you want me to say?
Look, actually, Denver's in the thick of it, man. Normally, you're looking at yourself at 6-6, like, man, we stink. You're right in the wild card hunt in this year, especially in the AFC. Yeah. AFC just a down year. A lot of losses for a lot of these teams in the AFC, and Denver's right there. They just got to beat a 1-win Lions team.
They're smoking hot, coming off a victory. Don't hate. Let's go to Tier 3, a little bit better, but not much. Jags are at the Titans. Interestingly enough, Ryan Tannehill without Derrick Henry, 4 touchdowns, 6 picks. I just don't know if he's going to be able to carry the mail. That division stinks, but I don't know if I believe that the Titans are going to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, their whole offense is based around, Henry, more Henry, and then we're going to act like we're getting into Henry, and then we may hit you with a little play action. you take that away from that team, it's just not the same team. And we're kind of seeing Tannehill go back to his Miami days. He was on hot, Mr. Finger Rolling, just finger rolling every time you looked up, but hasn't been much finger rolling lately. So they're still in it too. They gotta keep winning, and what a team to get than the Jags.
Yeah, exactly. The Falcons are at the Panthers, NFC South duel. Joe Brady is out. I knew that. Didn't know Cam went 5 of 21 at one point last week. That was a nice little 1 week run there in Carolina. I think that show's over.
Yeah, it's so hard, man, especially when you're coming off the couch. Like, you're just going to light the league on fire off the couch, especially when you haven't played football in months. It's just very, very, very hard to do, especially when these coordinators have had years and years of tape on you, and they know exactly how to stop you. They get paid the big bucks to stop you, and that's exactly what that Carolina offense has looked like. Just not very good. And now my boy Taylor's guy's out the lineup again. My boy C-Mac, man. C-Mac just can't get right. It's just a tough year for the Panthers.
Spent like half my budget in the fantasy draft on him in an auction league, and he played like 2 games. So how's that? Also, who's the other? Is A.J. Brown on the IR? He's the other guy I have that's just hurt.
On the Titans,
I spent a bunch of money on him, too. I'm in last. I'm going to have to buy the entire league Hooters for the draft next year. Okay, Giants and Chargers, that's tier 3. I don't think it's great. Jake Fromm might be starting for the Giants if you want to watch that. Keenan Allen's got COVID. He's out. So the Chargers have some COVID issues. They had Allen who got it, and then they got some contract tracing to deal with, which I guess we're still doing that. But maybe if you want to watch Jake Fromm play, I can jack it into tier 2, but I don't know that that's necessarily the case.
Yeah, not moving the needle that much for me. If anything, I'll be looking at my man Herbert, see if he can still keep playing at that elite level. But not much else to look for in that one.
Good rivalry on Sunday Night Football, but everybody that I follow on Twitter wants them to flex it out of the Sunday night window because they don't want to watch Aaron Rodgers, their owner, take them down at Lambeau Field. Justin Fields back for the Bears, but I don't think it's a great game. The Packers ought to roll them.
Yeah, they definitely are. And the Packers are getting their guys back. They're getting Zadarius Smith back. They're getting Jaire Alexander back. And no wonder why Aaron's barking a little bit. He's feeling really good about himself right now, not taking back his ownership comments. And I look for them to probably roll the Bears here. It's just not a good scene in Chicago right now.
I'm kind of liking the NFC playoffs. Everyone knows I'm not a huge NFL guy. It doesn't really move the needle for me most Sundays. But when you look around, obviously the Bucs are starting to play well. We'll talk about them in a second. The Packers have been great every game Rodgers has played but one. And then I think the Cowboys are pretty decent. And the Cardinals, no one really even pays attention to them because no one cares about the Cardinals. But it seems like it's going to be an interesting NFC playoffs. But the Bears will not be involved in any of that. I can say that pretty safely. Let's move on to tier 2, some better football. I enjoy a little bit of this. Ravens at the Browns. Look, Baker's in year 4. Are we going to put up and try to make a playoff run, or are we just going to put it in the tank and lose this game to the Ravens at home?
Man, I don't want to sound too disrespectful. I know this is my boy Taylor Sharp's favorite player in the world. Probably has a Baker jersey hanging in his room or somewhere, something like that. But Baker, I think the best word to put for Baker is average. He has really good highs and really low lows, and you add it all up together, it's just average. And if that's what you want to spend a number 1 pick on, especially you look in that draft class and look at some of the quarterbacks that came out of that class, it's on the quarterback, man. They built that team around you. They gave you the O-line. They gave you the backs. They gave you the receivers. They gave you tight ends. Like, they're giving you everything, man. You got to start, bringing some fruit to that labor. So, I don't know, man. I'm not totally sold on Baker like some of these other people in this room may be.
You like the Ravens win that one
in Cleveland? I like the Ravens.
Raiders are at the Chiefs. The Raiders don't have another under 500 team on their schedule the rest of the way. The Chiefs have won 5 in a row. Would suggest that the Chiefs are going to handle their business here. But every once in a while, David Carr decides he's going to throw for like 460 and 4 touchdowns. I don't anticipate the way the Chiefs defense is playing that's going to be on Sunday.
Yeah, I never thought a world I would wake up and say, hey, the Chiefs are winning because of their defense. That's exactly what they've been doing. They've been winning in spite of their offense. Their offense has just been a turnover machine, whether it's tip passes from Tyreek, Patrick trying to run around the backyard and fling it behind his back and do all this stuff. It's just not been what they've been hitting on a high clip on this year. Their defense has been playing well, and I intend on their defense continuing to play well, especially at home.
I'm about to put you on the spot. You ready?
Yes, go.
Name the NFC team that's won 4 in a row.
The Washington football team.
The football team has won 4 in a row. The Cowboys are headed to the nation's capital. What do you see there?
I don't know. I think the football team, that steam is going to run dry. That was a huge win against Tampa Bay. That was probably their most marquee win of the season. But
clearly.
Yeah, but Dak's record, Dak's only lost 1 game against the football team. So I think he continues that this Sunday.
If the football team wins this game, you're talking about a 1-game separation with the Cowboy team that that we think is really, really good. Taylor, open your mic real quick. Are you terrified of the Washington football team this weekend?
Yeah, only because it's December and the Cowboys always lose in December. So, yeah, I'm pretty terrified.
All right. Well, we shall see how that thing goes. 49ers are at the Bengals. 49ers coming off a loss at Seattle. Not a good loss. Is this a two-step forward week for the Bengals, or is it a one-step back week for the Bengals?
Man, come on, Joey B. Come on, Joey B, man. I know you got your finger banged up, man, but I need that consistency. Hurt. Yeah, he's hurt. He's banged up right now, but I need that consistency, man. I'm ready to pound the table, man. I got my Bengals gear on today, man. Let's go. Come on, Joey B. We're at home. We got a chance to win this one. Let's get to 8-5. We'll be right in the thick of things, especially in the AFC. Let's go, Smoking Joe. Let's do it.
The Bengals are plus 64 in the differential. Now I realize that they ran the Steelers off the field. They ran the Ravens off the field, and they beat the Steelers pretty good too. But they've also lost some games. You look up and go, why are we doing that? So we'll see what they can do this weekend. And then my one game that's in Tier 1, probably because I just can't quit my Super Bowl pick, but I am putting it in Tier 1. The Bills are at the Bucs because there aren't that many teams that I feel like are going to go into Tampa and really have a good chance to win. The Bills are one of them, and if you told me they lost 42-13, I wouldn't be surprised by that either. Antonio Brown suspended for faking a COVID vaccine.
Oh, man.
And we know what the Bills dealt with last week against the Patriots, who ran at every play. Is old Lenny ready for that?
I think this is bad news for the Bills, especially with my man Tre'Davious out for the year.
Yes.
It's just not looking good for that Bills defense, and you let someone it's just demoralized. You let a rookie quarterback throw 3 pass attempts and you lose. Like, now you got to go see Tommy Boy. So, good luck with that.
Not great. Not so great. All right, if I gave you the remote, you got one game to watch on Sunday running through them. I mean, I figure it's going to probably come out of Tiers 1 and 2 unless you really want to watch the Bears and the Packers. But Bills, Bucks, Ravens, Browns, Raiders, Chiefs, Cowboys football team, Niners, Bengals.
I think I'm going to wait till Monday to watch a game. I'll watch the Cardinals and the Rams on Monday.
Yes.
That'll probably be the best game we got going.
That's not an answer to my question. The answer to me, probably, quite honestly, is Cowboys and football team, just because of the way the Washington's played the last few weeks. It's tough to get me to lock in on Taylor Heineke, but I guess that's probably the game of the week for me, even though Bills Bucks probably going to get more eyeballs in that one. So that's your run through the the NFL schedule for the weekend. Let's take another time out. Come back. We got 30 minutes left with you on a Friday edition of Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, Hunt and Hill. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Yo, you can listen to 1045
who are
ESPN
working
on the
tirelessly
airway
to care for our communities. We thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Auctioner Health.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rafino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Right, radio hours return. Kick Rocks, Ask Ryan, all that good stuff. Hopefully you'll join us as well. 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Just ran through the NFL schedule for Sunday with you. There was one game we didn't talk about. That was Saints and Jets. Of course, the Hoodats headed up to New York to take on the Jets. The Saints have not – I didn't realize this. I mean, it's not surprising. They haven't lost 5 in a row in 16 years, and that's the case right now. That's brutal. 2005 was the last time they lost 5 in a row. They had actually lost 6 in a row, and then they beat the Jets. And then Jim Haslett's last year. Then they lost the last 5 games of his tenure in New Orleans. So some good news. Obviously, Alvin Kamara has been a full participant in practice the last couple of days. You expect to get him back. He's been out for 4 games. Obviously, you're losing those games that he's not playing in. The Jets are 3-9 under Robert Saleh. So it's the Jets team that has the longest drought in the NFL in terms of playoff appearances. They have not been in 10 years. And it's time for the Saints to get right in this game if they can find a way to do it. Looks like Taysom's going to be your starter even though he's banged up. He does get Kamara back. Deontay Harris is out on the offensive side. So especially offensively, we'll get to defense where they got a couple guys coming back, but Cam Jordan out. But offensively, you think they can get anything going against the Jets?
Yeah, you better. You better be able to get something going against the Jets. And I think for the Saints, I think getting Alvin Kamara is just a huge, huge sigh of relief for that offense and for Sean Payton. He can actually scheme some stuff up. He actually has a guy that's one of the better players in all of football that you can, make plays for. Before just watching the Saints these past few weeks, it's a lot of 3 receivers, a lot of 3 and 4 tight ends. It's like you point to the weapons that they have on offense. A lot of those guys wouldn't start elsewhere in the league. They wouldn't be on the field. So those are the guys you're depending on to make plays and win football games for you. So when you get Alvin Kamara back, I think you're going to have to continue to do what you did before and kind of run them into the ground. You got to keep feeding them, keep giving them opportunities to make plays because that's going to be your best chance of winning.
He's going to touch it a lot on Sunday, you'd have to imagine. And the flip sides of the field, you've got Cam Jordan out for this game. Defensive end Marcus Davenport should be back this weekend. C.J. Gardner-Johnson should be back. Paulson Adebo is going to play. And so you look at this Jets offense, and they are not very good. Zach Wilson's going to be the guy. The glimmer of hope, I guess, for the Jets last week, even though it was a blowout, He finished the game 12 of his 14 for 108 yards, had 2 touchdowns and a scoring run right before halftime. The Saints' defense against the pass has been pretty brutal, 250 yards a game towards the bottom of the league, but they've been really good against the run. Can Zach Wilson beat the Saints' defense through the air?
I mean, he got me out of contenders this year. I know I'll give him credit for that, but that's about it. That's about all he's done all year. He had that great game against the Titans, and after that, it just has not looked good. He's just looked like a total rookie quarterback, and it just has not played well. So if the Saints can't stop this kid, they're in a heap of trouble because, I mean, honestly, they're one game out of the wild card spot right now. So they're still in the thick of it. Obviously, losing not many games in a row, you think you just be no way that you'd be in the picture, but you get this win, you start feeling good about yourself. I know some of the guys talked about their frustration on the team with that. You got to beat this bad Jets team.
You do. And there was a narrative early in the season with the Saints that they were playing up to really good teams and down to really bad teams, but you figured they had the horses and the firepower, as they showed early, to beat anybody. And I just don't think that day is today. I just think that they're out of steam. They're out of bullets. They've got a banged-up quarterback who's not really a quarterback. They've got an offensive line in shambles. Their playmakers on the outside are even worse than they were 7 days ago because Deontay Harris is out. Yes, you're glad to get Kamara back. I would still be surprised if the Saints scored 27 points in this game, even against the Jets, because I just don't buy what the Saints are selling, even with one of the best offensive minds in the past 20 years calling the shots and a bad defense. I just can't get on board with it.
Yeah. I mean, for the Saints, this is now or never, and I know that's cliche to say.
Yeah,
but
the at Bucks is coming next week, so there you go.
Yeah, so you better win this game right now. Obviously, you can still afford to have maybe one more loss at the max 2, but you got to start getting hot right now. And you obviously have that win over the Bucks, which is I know the Saints feel really good about. They had their way with them last year, especially in the regular season. So it's a division game. In the division game, you're going to get up for those guys, and you're going to, it's going to be a close game. But you can't get to that without beating the Jets first. So you're going to have to handle business up there.
If they win this game on Sunday, it's going to have to look like the game did a couple years ago when Teddy went up to Seattle when Drew had just gotten hurt and the defense produced a touchdown and they just stifled Seattle and they couldn't get anything going. The offense wasn't very good, but it didn't kill them, and they scored enough points to win the game. The Saints, to win this game, it's going to have to be 20-10. Like, that's what you're going to have to do to win the game. I'm not ruling that out by any stretch. I wouldn't be shocked at all if they went up there and won this game. But to suggest that you got Kamara back, the Jets stink, and Sean P's going to figure it out, and they're going to go up there and off a long week after losing a Thursday night game to the Cowboys, they're going to come out and they're going to put up 31 points. It's not there for me. I do still think the defense has got a chance. The defense is fairly healthy, and that's been the most interesting thing that we've talked about. The defense isn't as decimated by injuries as the offense. Clearly, having Cam out with COVID this week is not great, but you get a couple guys back. Cowboys 27, not terrible, not great. The Bills 36, Eagles 40. The D just hasn't been as good.
Yeah, that's the very just frustrating part for the Saints, I think, and that you would think that defense would be their strong suit, especially you watch them try out there against Aaron Rodgers and the crew, and they just make him look like he didn't play football, like football wasn't his sport. And then you saw them, pick Brady off a couple times. You've seen this defense have high of highs, and you've also seen them have extremely low lows, and that's just kind of just what this Saints team has been this year, just inconsistent up and down play. Just from both sides of the ball. So I think for them, it's a great opportunity against a rookie quarterback who has not been playing well to kind of get some confidence back, kind of get you feeling good about yourself again and try to get back going in the right direction.
All right, I'm going to start naming teams. Tell me if the Saints are better than them today or worse than them today. The Cowboys.
Worse.
The football team.
Worse.
The Eagles.
Ooh, that's a good question.
The Eagles beat them.
I'll say, I'll still say worse.
Giants.
I'll say the Saints are better than the
so
Giants.
Packers.
No way, Jose.
Vikings.
No way, Jose. My boy Jets.
Yep, Jets played well last night. Bears.
Ooh, no, this is a toss-up, this one. But I'll say Saints are better.
Yeah, so would I. Lions.
Oh, wait, come on now.
Exactly. Buccaneers.
No way, Jose.
And then the rest of the South's not very good. But Cardinals.
No way.
Rams.
No way.
49ers.
Ooh, I think the Saints could play them. I think it depends on where that game is for me for that one.
All right, Seahawks.
Saints can beat them.
Okay. Well, that's not as bad as I thought. At that point, I've just got 8 teams that you said are definitely better than the Saints. That would knock you out of the playoffs, but I was thinking, based on that exercise, we may be able to – I was thinking you may say the 49ers, Seahawks were better, and that would give me down like 10 teams in the conference are significantly better than where the Saints are right now, which is basically where I was going with the exercise. It's just they're just not as good. I think at full strength, this was a pretty quality team that could have made the playoffs, would have made the playoffs. I think with most things going your way, you're not going to get through a 17-game schedule where everybody stays healthy and everything's working out for you. But if most things lined up the way that you would like to and the way that it lines up for most championship teams, I think it's a playoff team that certainly could line up on a given day and give you a hell of a fight in January. And I just don't feel that the Saints are there anymore.
Yeah, it's tough. And I think if you had your weapons, you've had everyone, you felt good, your offensive line was there, you feel like you can play with anyone in this league. It's just not been the case. You're down to Taysom playing quarterback. If someone told me Taysom would be playing quarterback for the Saints, I would not like anything about that. And that's exactly who they have playing quarterback for them. And we know how important that position is. So, Sean Payton, man, it's a tough year, but I still believe in what he has to offer and just getting some guys back healthy next year. I think it may be time if you screw around and lose this game to the Jets, start planning for next year.
So that's the question. And it's not the question. This is my advice to Saints fans. And this is very, very difficult when you're in the middle of it. I trust me, it would be very hard for me to do. But it's my advice to Saints fans. Turn on the TV at noon on Sunday and watch the Saints play the Jets, and you pull for the Saints like your hair is on fire. You just get fired up. You crack a cold beer. I'm going to have some gumbo working. You enjoy your lunch and get fired up for the Saints. If they win the game, hell yeah, we're all right. Let's go. We got Tom and Tampa on the road next week. We got to go take care of business and win that football game. Let's go. If they lose the game on Sunday, it's all right. We might need to get a better draft pick. It'll be okay. So look. Don't necessarily pull that against them. I probably would if I was a Saints fan, but that's hard to do. I get it. But in this instance, if the Saints win, hell yeah, let's roll. If the Saints lose, all right, let's move on up the draft boards. We might need to try to take a quarterback. All right, let's see what we can do. So that's where I am with it. And it's hard to do if you're a fan.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to do. But I think for the Saints, I think you lose this game, it's time for the Ian Book show, baby. You got to see
have mercy.
Yeah, you got to see what you got in your draft pick. Trot him out there and see what he does out there. See if he stinks it up too.
If Ian Book does play, I got to get my boy Luke Johnson, got to get Sharif, got to get those guys on the horn, throw some Brian Kelly questions at him, give us some content because nobody really cares about what Ian Book does as the Saints quarterback because that's not going to be sustainable. So we'll see. I'll react to that as it comes. We'll tell you about FanDuel here very briefly, come back and close out a week's worth of Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
FanDuel.
Sports betting is coming to Louisiana, and there's no better place to get in on the action on the FanDuel Sportsbook. To celebrate, FanDuel is giving you $100 in free site credit when you register early. That's right. Register and verify now, and you'll receive a free $100 bonus when we're live.
$100 bonus when it goes live, which is coming pretty soon. I would imagine here we're talking about weeks, not months, and certainly not years. Online sportsbook coming to Louisiana. Make FanDuel your choice. It is safe. It is secure. It is 100% legal and regulated, and that's why it's America's #1 sportsbook. And the best thing, that people have experienced this around the country because it's live. When you win, you can get paid in as little as 2 hours. Cash that thing out. It is all yours. They give you great super boosts on the weekends, great odds boosts during the day. It is America's #1 sportsbook. So download it right now. And they'll give you $100 in your account. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. Bonus is issued on a non-withdrawable site credit that expires 7 days after FanDuel accepts its first real money sports wager in Louisiana. Unique user identity verification is required. The offer ends on the go-live date. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Just in time for your Christmas celebration.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel. to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, reminding you they now have 8 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And if you're looking for that COVID test for holiday travel, or you have a holiday event coming up, they are the place for you, as well as a flu shot. It's starting to creep up here during flu season, so if you need that shot, make sure you get that. They now have some available through December. You can find more information on their website, patientplusuc.com. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
In Perkins Row, recapping all of the college and NFL action from the weekend on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Good news on the recruiting trail for Brian Kelly and the Tigers. Emory Jones and Will Campbell, two big-time offensive linemen from in the state, reaffirmed their commitment over the last 24 hours and have tweeted out they are rock solid. They'll be putting ink to paper on Wednesday, which is a good start to this class. Brian Kelly's got a lot of work to finish out. Huge weekend on campus at LSU with official visitors. You will have Walker Howard and Will Campbell and Emory Jones and a lot of folks here to try to finish things down. It's a big deal. The last weekend is such a big deal because it's the last impression. You have a chance you have to make an impression. And Shaz Preston, I believe, is going to Tuscaloosa this weekend. Big-time player from South Louisiana, a guy that LSU has really prioritized. The previous staff did, and certainly this staff will. A lot of things have to, a lot of dominoes have to fall, and guys have the option of not signing here in 3 days. No, it's not Wednesday, not Saturday yet, but next Wednesday, signing in 5 days or waiting until February to ink it. But it's going to be a big weekend. Hopefully there's some good news that comes out of campus this weekend.
Yeah, huge weekend. And I talked to Will Campbell earlier in the year. He's going to be an early guy, so he'll be in the spring for LSU football. So this early signing day is huge to get a guy like that. So I'm excited to hear that news. And obviously Emory as well. I think that's the first place I think Coach Kelly's going to try to solidify, especially when this transfer portal gets rolling around and kind of around the nation. You see guys leaving their schools. We're going to have to revamp this offensive line with Ingram being gone, Deculus being gone, Shanahan being gone. You're going to have to fill a lot of holes in that offensive line, and what better place to start in your own backyard in the state of Louisiana. So I'm pumped. I'm excited to see if there's any commitments this weekend, and that's going to be something I'll be tuning into.
You know what wouldn't surprise me if there were commitments this weekend, if those guys didn't wait and put a hat on a table on Wednesday. So I think, I'm not a recruiting guy. You ask Shay, Billy, any of those guys that follow it day to day, Go 247 is an awesome place to get your information. But it wouldn't surprise me if those guys wanted a little bit of a moment there because it's so close, not necessarily making things public. So, just my opinion as someone who's not in the middle of it, if you don't hear some great news this weekend, it's okay. Maybe you guys are waiting until Wednesday, and hopefully that's a great day for LSU. Let's do some take it or leave it and then head home for the weekend.
Yes, sir. All right. Clemson without both coordinator as their offensive coordinator Tony Elliott took the head coaching job at Virginia. Are you taking or leaving Clemson's run of dominance has come to an end?
I will leave it right now because their conference is atrocious. Now, they took a step back this year, obviously. The signing class still looks pretty good, but you lose both of your coordinators. And as we were talking about with LSU, not having a guy who's got a specific system definitely in place that controls one side of the ball, Dabo doesn't have that. So going to have to go find 2 new coordinators. They'll pay him a pile of money, and they'll have some really good players and a bad conference. So I'm not ready to throw the curtains on it yet. But no doubt, losing Brent Venables is a big deal to Clemson. Notre Dame, top 2 talents, running back and a safety. Not playing in the Fiesta Bowl this year. Taking or leaving that decision of guys not playing in a New Year's Six Bowl?
I'll take it because Hamilton is he's about to be a top 10 pick for sure.
Yeah.
It's just sure-handed best safety in the draft. And I don't know if you're 11-1 in Notre Dame. You've been to a college football playoff. I don't know if the Fiesta Bowl is going to do it for you, especially when you got millions of dollars on the line. And we kind of all saw what happened to Jalen Smith. So on that same field too. So I think they're probably going to pass up on that one.
It's a sad deal, but it's just a reality, and there's no turning that hose off. That's just unless you expand the playoff to 16 teams, you're going to have guys bailing on every game that's not a national championship game. It just is. It is what it is. Hugh Jackson, old Hugh Jackson, took the Grambling job. He's the head man up in North Louisiana now. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave that one, man. It's just, I don't know if that. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to do a terrible job, but to me, when you're the head football coach of the Oakland Raiders and then you're the head football coach of the Cleveland Browns, I don't know if I'm taking the Grambling job. I don't know if that moves a needle for me, so I'm going to have to leave that one. But Hugh's definitely a great offensive mind. I'm sure he'll do good things at Jackson.
Look, at least he's made some cash in the NFL as a head coach. I think in terms of the housing market, Grambling, Ruston area, I think he could probably get a nice pad.
Yeah, he'd probably do a lot with up, especially that part of Louisiana.
Hugh, check out Squire Creek. Sick golf course. You can get a house right there.
All right. My man Chase Claypool, he cost his team a bunch of time as the Steelers were trying to make a miraculous comeback by doing a first down celebration with the time running out. Are you taking or leaving NFL players celebrating first downs on the 2-minute drill?
I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it right where it is. That is just hard to believe. It is just really hard to believe. It is so far and away taking your focus off trying to win the game and so far and away doing this look at me type cocky thing. Was it Trey Turner that knocked the ball out of his hands?
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, we've seen Larry Fitzgerald. Ryan Clark was on this a little bit earlier, but we've seen Larry Fitzgerald sprint the ball and dump it on the hash in his day in Arizona. Chase Claypool, I mean, he got a personal foul early in the game. Dude, we're trying to win. We're trying to win the game. And now we did not because we're trying to run the ball down and get it put on the hash so we can spike it. That was truly shocking to look at. Just absolutely terrible.
My man Mike McCarthy, he guaranteed a victory against their division rivals, the Washington football team. Are you taking or leaving NFL coaches guaranteeing victory?
Take it. Come on now. I love to see it. I don't care about bulletin board material. It's not my team. Look, have at it. He's not the one that's going to be taking cheap shots or getting everybody fired up ready to play. He's the one on the sideline holding the clipboard and trying to stay warm. So, look, it's interesting. If he was my coach, I would tell him to shut the blank up. He's not my coach, so it makes things interesting for us. I'm all about it.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that, especially coming from Mike McCarthy, the dude talking about monkey butt grease or whatever the heck he was talking about to motivate the team. He pulled out monkey butt grease. And
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. He was bragging about it after they won a game. He's like, I use that to motivate the team. What are we doing, Mike?
Okay.
This is terrible. All right, last one here. The NCAA, they're putting a stop to the fake slide that Kenny Pickett pulled off in the ACC championship game against Wake Forest. Are you taking or leaving NCAA putting a stop to the fake slide?
No, you're taking that. You have to. That is going to lead to some disaster if you got defensive guys who aren't pulling up and doing that. But I do want to say on the flip side of that, Kenny Pickett, sick move. It takes some athleticism to go into a fake slide stance and then stand back up and dart and outrun the whole defense. That was a sweet play. That was a Heisman type moment if he, didn't have a bad football team that he was trying to carry through a bad conference. But no, that was really fun to watch. So that's all for Take It or Leave It today. All right, give me a final score prediction. LSU and Georgia Tech on the hardwood.
Ooh, that's a good one. That was a good one. I'm going to go What's the spread for that game? Do you know?
It's not out yet, but my guess would be somewhere between 7 and 9.
All right, I'm going to go LSU 82, Georgia Tech 71.
Georgia Tech got 71. That'd be impressive. The way LSU's playing defense, that would mean the Devo kind of got going a little bit. My sincere hope is that they don't score that many. LSU's the tops in the country in points per game allowed, but a lot of people will point to the schedule and say that it's not super awesome. I would point to the net and say I don't need it to be super awesome. It just needed to get me up in the net. That is what I need. So Power 5 team, hopefully LSU has gotten out of their rut in the airport. If you missed that in the first hour, we had a picture of it. The team plane got off the runway in taxi and got stuck in the wet mud. And it's kind of like high school when guys have got to get trucks to pull themselves out. Hopefully somebody got them out of the dirt back on the runway so they could fly to Atlanta. Nobody hurt, no issues, just a little bit of a time inconvenience over there for the Fighting Tigers. So that game again at 5 o'clock tomorrow Central Time on ESPN2. That'll just about do it for us for the week. David Fletcher from the Texas Bowl came on at the top of this hour. We appreciate his time. Gave you information. You can get tickets to the Texas Bowl. TaxActTexasBowl.com. Talked about the NFL schedule, LSU, Georgia Tech hoops, and the Auburn infractions case that was closed led our show today. So if you missed it, 1045ESPN.com or on YouTube. That's always sponsored by Bayou Ford. It's going to do it for us. Looking forward to a fun weekend. Matt's going to drive you home from 3 to 6 on After Further Review. Your boys coming up with the early line next. That is Mario and Musso. Thank you to Casey and Taylor for all their hard work today. That's Jeremy Hill. I am Hunt Palmer. Have an awesome weekend, everybody. Go Tigers. Go Saints. We will see you on Monday for another edition of Hunt and Hill.